Let's start with a question that might sound silly, but hear me out. Have you ever been in a relationship where your partner's ex felt like a permanent ghost hovering over your shoulder? No matter how many times you remind yourself that the past is the past, no matter how many milestones you reach in the present, there's this lingering shadow that just won't leave. Now, imagine living that reality not in the privacy of your own relationship, but with the whole world watching, analyzing, and dissecting every glance, every lyric, every Instagram post. Welcome to the never-ending triangle of Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, and Hailey Bieber. Grab your popcorn, because what we're diving into isn't just about celebrity drama. It's about the messy, complicated reality of love, heartbreak, and the ghosts we never quite shake. And oh boy, this story is as tangled as it gets. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It is free and help us bring you enjoyable content. And of course, watch till the end. Back when Justin Bieber was still rocking the swoopy hair and Selena Gomez was transitioning from Disney darling to global superstar, the world fell in love with the idea of them together. They were young, impossibly famous, and ridiculously cute. To fans, they weren't just a couple. They were the blueprint of what teenage love could look like if sprinkled with fame, fortune, and the chaos of paparazzi flashbulbs. But here's the thing about young love, it burns bright, but it also burns messy. Their relationship was on again, off again, dramatic and emotional in ways that made it impossible for the public to look away. It was love, yes, but it was also spectacle. Every fight, every makeup, every unfollow on Instagram became headline news. It wasn't just a relationship. It was a saga. And little did we know at the time, this saga wasn't going to end when they broke up. It was going to linger, casting shadows on everything that came after. Because sometimes first love feels less like a memory and more like a scar that refuses to heal. Here's the funny thing about breakups. People like to imagine that when two people split, that's the end of the story. The credits roll, the book closes, and everyone moves on. But in reality, breakups don't work like that. Especially not when the relationship was as intense and public as Justin and Selena's. Even when they weren't together, their names kept colliding in the headlines. A cryptic song lyric here, a tearful interview there, a candid moment caught by paparazzi that sent fans spiraling into theories about whether they were secretly still in touch. The truth? They couldn't seem to fully escape each other. It's like when you try to delete an old playlist, but the songs somehow keep popping up on shuffle. You tell yourself it's over, but your heart hasn't caught up with your brain. And in Justin and Selena's case, the world wouldn't let them forget either. Imagine marrying the love of your life, only to find out that everywhere you go, people are still obsessed with his ex. That's the reality Hailey Bieber stepped into when she married Justin. To her credit, she's handled it with a level of grace most of us couldn't dream of. She stood by Justin through his struggles, supported him through personal battles, and built a life with him that includes a marriage, a home, and most recently, a baby. And yet, the whispers never stop. Every time Justin posts a love song, people speculate whether it's about Selena. Every time Hailey shares a vulnerable post, fans assume it's connected to the ghost of Justin's past. It's exhausting just to watch. I can't imagine how exhausting it must be to live. And here's where it gets really complicated. Recent reports suggest that Hailey herself is painfully aware that Justin's feelings for Selena may not be as buried as everyone thought. And that's not just gossip anymore. That's a knife twist. Because if there's one thing that can destabilize even the strongest marriage, it's the suspicion that your partner's heart isn't fully in the present. It's like trying to build a castle on sand. No matter how strong the walls, the foundation just won't hold. But is this just tabloid nonsense, or is there really more to it? That's the million-dollar question. Here's what makes this whole story even more fascinating. Selena Gomez doesn't seem stuck in the past at all. After everything, she took time to heal, focused on her health, leaned on her friendships, and channeled her energy into creating Rare Beauty, which became not just a makeup brand, but a movement for authenticity and self-love. She continued making music, starred in the hit series Only Murders in the Building, and even found love again with Benny Blanco, marking a new chapter in her life. To put it bluntly, Selena moved on. She became more than Justin's ex. She became her own powerhouse. And yet, no matter how far she seems to go, the media and the fans keep dragging her back into this narrative with Justin. It's almost unfair, like trying to run a marathon but being forced to carry the baggage of a race you already finished years ago. The irony? While Selena seems the most over it, Justin and the media appear to keep pulling her name back into the mix. If we strip away the noise and the tabloids, what are we really looking at here? On one hand, Justin has built a life with Hailey, a marriage, a family, a new sense of faith and stability. On the other hand, he seems to carry an emotional backpack full of memories with Selena that he can't quite put down. Is it obsession? Is it nostalgia? Or is it just the kind of unresolved emotional knot that comes from a relationship so formative, so intense, that it leaves fingerprints on your soul forever? This is where the conversation gets real, because how many of us have been in relationships where the ghost of a first love haunted us longer than we expected? Justin may be famous, but this is one of those deeply human struggles that fame only amplifies. It's not just about celebrity gossip. It's about the universal reality that sometimes the past refuses to let go, no matter how hard we try. Let's be honest, part of the reason this triangle won't die is because the internet won't let it. Fans pick apart every lyric, every social media post, every red carpet appearance, trying to decode hidden meanings. It's like a giant game of emotional detective work, except the stakes are real people's lives. Why do we do it? Because deep down, we're fascinated by love stories that don't fit neatly into happily ever after. We're drawn to the mess, the drama, the what-ifs. Justin and Selena's story taps into our own nostalgia for first loves, while Hailey represents the reality of what it means to build something lasting in the face of constant comparison. In other words, we're not just watching them. We're projecting our own love stories onto them. So where does this story go from here? Will Justin finally put Selena firmly in the past, choosing to fully embrace his life with Hailey? Will Hailey find peace knowing she's not competing with a ghost, but living her own love story? Will Selena continue rising above it all, carving her own path with Benny and beyond? Honestly, the answer might not be as dramatic as we want it to be. Maybe it won't end with a big revelation or a tearful public statement. Maybe it'll end quietly, with time doing what time does best, dulling the sharp edges of old wounds. But until that day comes, the triangle remains. And with every headline, every whisper, every emotional lyric, the ghost of the past lingers just a little bit longer. At the end of the day, this isn't just about Justin, Selena, or Hailey. It's about us. It's about how we all wrestle with the past, how we carry old loves into new relationships, how we struggle to let go even when we know it's best. It's about how the people we once loved never really disappear. They shape us, sometimes haunt us, and often remind us of who we once were. For Justin, that ghost just happens to be named Selena Gomez. For Hailey, it's the challenge of loving someone who comes with that kind of baggage. For Selena, it's the task of moving forward while constantly being pulled backward by public opinion. And for us, it's a reminder that love is messy, complicated, and never as simple as a fairy tale ending. So the next time you find yourself scrolling through headlines about these three, ask yourself, why can't we let this story go? Maybe it's because deep down, we all know the ghost of first love doesn't really leave. It just lingers, sometimes quietly, sometimes loudly, but always there. And maybe that's the real reason this triangle continues to fascinate us, because in some way, it's our story too.